Hey, it's Tuesday tip day. Um, I have some announcements and some stories to share with you, and a tip or two. So let's get started. First of all, the announcements. I'm going to be looking at my notes a little bit today. I don't normally do that, but I want to make sure I cover everything. So first of all, we are live on the website. Freedom Prayer page is up, so that's super exciting. If you want to go check it out, it is northway.org/freedom prayer. And if anybody asks you about signing up for a Freedom Prayer session, that's where you'll send them from here on out. So no more special link, just go to northway.org/freedom prayer, or they can even just go to the website and search Freedom Prayer. So that's exciting news. And on Behind and Beyond this week, don't know if you guys all watch that, but if you don't, check it out on our app. It's really cool. The teaching pastor sits down with one of our staff members and sort of talks through some behind the scenes sort of content that goes along with the sermon prep and sermon that was preached the previous week. Anyway, Dave announced Freedom Prayer on the app, or on Behind and Beyond. Amanda Beggs really referred to it the week before. So 2 weeks in a row on Behind and Beyond, we've had a plug for Freedom Prayer. I know that it's coming out in Dave's monthly video that he sends out to the congregation. The next one that'll come out will have all the Freedom Prayer stuff in it. We've got, he will wrap it in a sermon very soon. And then Shannon and I actually will be team teaching something on, I believe it's October 9th, the spiritual warfare small group. And a lot of that's going to be about breaking strongholds, about warfare, about the places that keep us stuck. So Freedom Prayer is definitely getting a plug there. And obviously at the well at the end of October. So we should really be getting more and more people coming through, to start signing up for prayer time. So I'm just going to assume that we're going to get a little busier here, which brings me to my next announcement. Deneen, our super sleuth, has gotten to the bottom of our problem with Planning Center, and it was indeed an issue. So if you are connected to Planning Center through any other team, your data has been confused a little bit for me, and now we figured out the way around that so that I can actually find out. It's actually like 3 extra steps and all of that, but I do at this point know how to get around that problem and go find out who is needing to get plugged into the prayer time, or who's had less or whatever. So some of that though is, I just want you to just be aware, we are still ramping up in the early stages of this. So it's not like we're using every prayer time. And if you are limited in the amount of times that you're able to serve, like a bunch of you are only one day, like a Sunday afternoon or a Monday night, and there's lots of other people at those time frames. So that is going to limit your ability to serve. Just because there's lots of people. So it would help if you extend and have more times available, or something like that. But that main problem has been fixed, so I'll be able to now find out like what's going on and probably have a little bit of a clearer picture as to getting you guys involved. Please again accept my apology for that. Just something we didn't foresee and didn't know was happening. Okay. Encouragement stories. I just want to let you know things are going so well. We still are having issues with connection now and again, but that's definitely getting better, better and better. And I think as our team sort of has figured out a little bit too, how to move through those moments a little bit less awkwardly and with a little bit more purpose than they were able to before. That's just reps. That's just doing it and figuring out a ways around it. There's still going to be many prayer times that this is really hard for, but they are coming along, and the connections are really beautiful. We've had people dealing with, I'm just going to read a couple of these on my list here. People being released of deep anger, seeing pictures of themselves being by a river, and the refreshment of that place. That's someone who had been really hardened by anger and just felt the softening of the Lord through that refreshing place. We've had people, multiple people actually, experience memories from very, very early childhood that were previously blocked that have come up and out and they've been able to experience freedom, the beginning of that freedom journey. There's a lot to those, but they're coming. There have been spiritual battles that have been fought, some things in a, sort of a little d demonic manifestations that some of our teams have been able to not like jump on like everything's a demon, but these were clear situations and they were able to help, which was amazing. We have a bunch of repeat people coming now back for second prayer time, so that's good. And then there was a woman who was struggling with her relationship with her elderly mother, lots of past wounding, and she would have to go visit her mother to care for her, but she was afraid that her mother was going to end up having to come and live with her, and that was just gripping her with fear. And she was actually hoping that her mother would pass before that might happen. And then after the freedom prayer session, a couple weeks, this woman emailed the team and said that, here's her quote, "I have been free to take care of my mom in peace and without all the contention. I know my God and Father is always there, and I'm happy in myself. Thank God for you and your work with Freedom Ministries." So that's pretty cool. And then there was one connection that was very challenging, but they finally got to the place where they realized we have to do a little kingdom business to maybe set her free to be able to connect. They did a DKB in breaking vows, and that sort of tenuous connection that she had that was maybe at about 50%, like surged directly after the breaking of that vow to like a 90% connection. So super excited about stuff like that. We're learning. That's to be expected, right? We're starting to figure out like, what do I do in these situations? And I know there's going to be a lot that we talk about in connection when Jennifer comes, and she's going to give us a lot of really good ideas. So hang in there, keep pressing in and asking the Lord to show up. But I'm excited about that, and then the advanced training that we're going to be receiving, but a lot of other things. So remember, be logging your questions so that when Jennifer comes, we can really use her time well on that Sunday evening. Okay, here's your tips for today. And these both are sort of about the beginning part of the prayer time. The one is in the opening conversation, and it's not a tip from me. This is an attachment that you will find connected to the email I sent you. Allison and Gary Monk came up with some language to help explain like a little bit about connection, a little bit about what freedom prayer is and why someone's here in a prayer session. I think it's really good language, and it might really help you to figure out how to say some of the things that sometimes feel awkward. But it's really important to lay that foundation about connection, especially knowing that lots of people come in and they're not having that background experience. So take a look at that. That's super cool. And then I got a question from somebody about what do I do at the beginning, to help form connection? Some people are thinking it's scripture that we need to use. Some people use songs. And there have been some questions from in the debriefs like, well, which is it? And the answer is both. Okay, so either one is great. Of course, we want to use scripture whenever we can. It's part of the fruit of freedom prayer. But there are definitely people that will lock into more of a place of connection through worship than they might through the word. This is a discernment place. So I'm trusting you to listen to the Lord on that and figure out. So what you don't want to do is just sort of decide from the beginning that this is how I'm going to begin every prayer time. You just need to follow the Lord. And I have great trust in our people to be able to say, this is what the Lord is doing in this minute. I take what he's doing in this very moment. So I also want to encourage the chair ones to be confident in that. Your chair twos and threes in a debrief might feel differently, but you are the one that is, moving forward that prayer time. And so the discernment is on you for that. So have the confidence, trust that God's speaking to you, but make sure you're submitting it to him. Worship is great. Sometimes it's the perfect thing. Scripture's always good. So use them both and use them as the Lord directs. Okay, love you guys. I can't wait to see you soon. And I'm excited about what's happening. Many of you are coming to the response prayer training at the end of the month. It's going to be amazing. The well is going to be out of control, and our stuff for freedom prayer is just going to be a straight up blessing. So We've got some great time coming up, pretty full in October with prayer times. There's still some prayer times left, but we're really filling up. So here we go. We're launching. We're confident. We're believing for it. I have such faith for what God is doing, and I'm excited. Love you. See you soon.